What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon. NFL DFS video. We are breaking down Monday Night Football. We've got the Bengals. We've got the Cowboys. We hopefully will have a shootout, kind of like what we saw with the Bills game, unlike what we saw with Sunday Night Football, Chiefs and the Chargers. So, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. We're going to have some fun in this video. So what we're going to do is, I don't usually do this, but if this video, we're going to have the giveaway. So like this video, be a subscriber to the channel, and leave a comment on this video. If this video gets at least 50 likes, you will win a free week of FTA Plus. 100 likes on this video, a free month. 150 likes on this video, a free year. 200 or more likes on this video, a chance at a $500 lifetime pass. Now, normally the week is every single sport, but for whatever reason, NBA is only one game today, 2 tomorrow, 3 on Wednesday. It's a weird NBA slate. If anyone knows why, let me know down below. I have no idea. So we won't really have NBA content until Wednesday. We're not going to do a 2-game content, I don't think. We're not going to do a 1-game slate. But again, leave a comment on this video. So if you've never been here before, we kind of break down the statistics from last year till this week, so week 14 on Monday Night Football. Then we're going to build you some lineups through here. And I really like some of these lineups that I've initially run through in our 10,000 simulation. So I've already simulated it 10,000 times, so we're going to do that. I've also been simulating different metrics, working on some code in Python and stuff like that. So it's been very exciting. Not much free time, but I've been able to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you the statistics through DraftKings from last year till this year, and then we're going to dig in and we're going to figure out if those statistics work or if we want to go a different direction. So looking from last year, 84% of the winning lineups have had at least one quarterback in their lineup. I think Joe Burrow obviously makes the most sense. He throws up 4 touchdowns a game, but his defense gives up a ton. So the fact that how bad the defense has been for Cincinnati, I think we've got a Dallas QB in there as well. So we're looking at Cooper Rush just as well, I think. Obviously, Joe Burrow's QB1. Cooper Rush will be QB2 here. Only 6% of the winning lineups used all 50,000 salary on DraftKings, so make sure you pay attention to that. Only 16% of them used a $200 player. Looking at this, there's not a ton that make any sense to use. I don't think we're going to be going down that far at all. 80% of the winning lineups have had a $4,000 player or less, which makes some sense here. You could look at Tolbert a little bit. I know he's 4,200, but he's right around there. Khalil Herbert's there at 3,600, Jonathan Mingo, and so on and so forth. The running game for Dallas is pretty much non-existent all year, so we might look at the passing game, which is completely fine because we got some great options there. Average salary used through last year, $47,500. So they left $2,500 on the table. So don't feel like you have to use the entire salary. And then stack percentages, depending on what we're looking at. So we're looking currently, it's got an over-under of 49.5, a very high over-under for Monday Night Football. It's got Cincy as a 5.5-point spread, so not close, but not like a huge blowout like they thought Philly would do, and then Philly did not win by 12.5 or 13.5. And then they do have Cincinnati being a moneyline favorite. So Cincy's only won 6 of their last 10. Their defense has been absolutely trash. Covering the spread of 5.5, they've only done that 4 of their last 10. And over under 49.5, 8 of their last 10 they've hit the over on this one. Dallas has hit the under 6 of their last 10 though. So that's the difference there. But I do think this is going to be a shootout. So looking at that, kind of looking at the breakdown stack-wise, 4-2 breakdown, or 4-2 stack, 44% of the time it's been the winning stack. 3-3 has been 36% of the time. 5-1 has only been 21% of the time. And then a captain breakdown. Now, this might not necessarily mean anything because of how the defenses match up, which we're going to look at the matchup tool. But 39% of the time the winning lineup's been a wide receiver, which Jamar Chase could make sense. CeeDee Lamb makes sense. 28% of the time it's been a running back. Absolutely love Chase Brown in this situation. 17% of the time it's been a quarterback. Joe Burrow makes a ton of sense. You want to get leverage on the field. Obviously, you would look at Cooper Rush in that situation. Tight end, 7% of the time. Defense, 7% of the time. I'm not taking the defense in this game. Not taking the defenses. This is not the week for defenses. And then kicker, 2% of the time. You could look at that, but I do think it's going to be a shootout. I want to look in a different direction. So we use our matchup tool, which you can find under the NFL tab under the matchup tool. this is how we read the matchup tool here. These are the defenses. These are the statistics they've allowed to the opposing quarterback, the rushes they've allowed to the opposing quarterback, and then the fantasy points allowed per game to the opposing quarterback. So we look at this. Dallas ranked 29th out of 32 against the opposing quarterback in the red zone, where Cincy is 25. And you can look at this. Cincy's defense has given up 3,000 passing yards, 22 touchdowns, and only 7 interceptions with 2 300-plus games. Flip side of that, the Cowboys 27-58, 17 to 9 interceptions, but the rushes are what we've got. Both defenses have given up over 400 yards to quarterbacks in the rushing game. Dallas's defense has given up 7 rushing touchdowns to the quarterback. Joe Burrow can run. He looks healthy. He looks good to go. Would not be surprised if he runs 1 or 2 in this week. Then we look at this situation. Fantasy points per game on DraftKings. Bengals rank 30 out of 32 against the opposing quarterback. Dallas ranks 28th out of 32. This could be an absolute shootout. I think that's exactly what we want to do in this situation. I think both quarterbacks are good to go when we build our lineups. Then we look to running back, both over 1,000 yards given up. Dallas's defense against the opposing quarterback or opposing running back, 25th. They gave up an average of 25.7. I absolutely love Chase Brown here. Captain, MVP, superstar, whichever website you're playing on, I love him there. You look at that. Bengals against the running back, 14. So they're pretty good. There's not a ton to love about the Dallas run. So I'm probably off of the Dallas run. I would look at the wide receivers. I would be focused on the Bengals. Then we look against wide receivers. The Bengals ranked 22nd out of 32. They give up an average of 35.2 on FanDuel or on DraftKings. And then you look at Dallas, 20th out of 32, giving up 33.5. So there's not a ton of difference there. Jamar Chase is in there. T. Higgins is in there. Yoshevich is in there. I don't mind. CeeDee Lamb, Tolbert. I think they're all in play tonight. It could be a pretty good Monday night. Could be one of the best Monday Night Football games, scoring wise. And people were looking at this and saying the Thursday night game, the Sunday night game, and then the Monday night game, and then the Monday night game was the worst. But there could be a ton of points here. Then we look at the defenses. The Bengals rank 30 out of 32 against the tight end. 16.6 fantasy points. Jake Ferguson is in. If you want to, value down, Schoonmaker is in. Dallas Cowboys 14th, 11.2. You got Gesicki, you got Alt, all. It just depends. I'd probably focus a little bit more on DraftKings or on Dallas tight end, but there you go. This is a completely free tool. I filtered it out to just these 2 games. It obviously has every other team in there too. We update this usually by Wednesday morning. So we'll have a lot of time this week to focus on NFL to get you guys all the videos out there. If you did not check out the main slate breakdown, absolutely love Sam Darnold in Minnesota. Took them. Absolutely love Josh Allen. He 50 plus fantasy points out of him. Still lost the game. Loved Baker Mayfield, 3 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions. Jalen Hurts was there. I think the play with Jalen Hurts is use Jalen Hurts. Don't stack him with a pass catcher. Just stack him with Saquon Barkley at this point until he proves us otherwise. So it's kind of where we went. We went 5 stacks. The only one that we're missing is Joe Burrow against Dallas, which we had as our number 2 stack for week 14. So make sure you check out everything on the website, and let's build some lineups. So using this and knowing against running back that they are very bad, I absolutely love Chase Brown here. I love Chase Brown there. I think I also want to get in Joe Burrow. Either dump off passes or he throws the ball. We know that he can run as well. I would not be surprised if Burrow rushes a touchdown himself. I want to get the other quarterback in there, so we're averaging about 5,400 this way. I think I want to get Ferguson in here. Did I miss him? Because Cincy against the tight end, not very good. Now we're at 5,400 the rest of the way. Which other guy is Burrow going to throw to? Jamar Chase makes sense at 11. He does. T. Higgins at 96. You could go down. You could go either Gesicki or did I miss Yoshevich, or is he out? Oh, he's 4,400. He really hasn't done much. But, I mean, he's got a touchdown last game. I think he'll be very underowned. I think everyone will be on the other people, and we could go with him. Now we're at 6,500. We are looking at Gesicki. We are looking at Brandon Aubrey. If you're looking at kickers, you could definitely look at that situation. I'm off of the defenses. You could be looking at Schoonmaker. We've already got Ferguson, though. So maybe we look at this, and we think that, depending, if you think it's going to be Gesicki, you could look at him. If you look at the game logs here, 10.3, nothing, 730. Like, he's had some good games against teams. So I'm going to go Gesicki here. I've left 900 on the table. You could also go away from that, go Brandon Aubrey and save 600 there and have 1,500 left on the table. So that's a different direction you could go. So this is one I'm going to go, but I'm going to do you one better. I'm going to go back. I'm going to import that lineup. I'm going to take out, I don't like how it moves them. Take them out, and then I am going to go Brandon Aubrey here. We've left 1,500 on the table. 48.5 is what it is, and the average was 47.5. So the average has been there. You guys kind of know that, and that's just one lineup that I want to build. That is starting with Chase Brown as the captain spot, which I don't think is a surprise. There's so many different directions these lineups could go today. Let's put it in a different direction. So Joe Burrow at the top. Joe Burrow throwing it to Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase absolutely is feasted. Look at these. 58 obviously went off for 264 against Baltimore. But he could against Dallas. They're, not that good. I don't think he's going to go 50. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes 20 plus. His targets are there. You're looking, the least amount of targets he's had has been 9 since week 7, where he got 6. So Jamar Chase makes a ton of sense. Could we build a lineup here? Maybe T. Higgins also has a good game. So then could we build a lineup here where we are looking a little bit lower? Maybe you come down here. I don't trust the Dallas run game. I don't trust Dalvin Cook. I don't trust Zeke. Dowdle's up there at 9,000. He's kind of expensive for me. You got Brandon Cooks, who was targeted 7 times in that game. Only had 6. That's what's crazy. 7 targets, 3 receptions, only 16 yards. We look at that. He's back. Obviously, he's back. He missed a ton of time. He's a $7,000 player. We're at 3,200 the rest of the way. That's the only problem. So then you got to come down here and you got to find some sort of value, whether or not it's under 4K, under, down here. If you wanted to go with maybe a Zeke, what we see with Zeke, 4 rushing yards last week, 1 attempt, 3 attempts. Like, he hasn't done anything. That's the problem when you build here. You got Sample, who hasn't really done much. You got Mingo last week. 1 reception. He had 4 targets, though. He was targeted. He dropped them. Against the Cincy secondary, it just depends. You want to go Yoshevich. I'm okay with that. We're at 2,100. It's basically Tanner Hudson and down. Tanner Hudson. Targets have been there. That'd be a sneaky one. It's a 5-1 stack with Dallas being there. So you could go in that direction. It's finding the balance between how much you're going to pay up for your captain and then how far down you're going to pay for a flex option, because we could go in different directions. But let's do, on the flip side, let's look at because of how bad the defense has been for Cincy, let's just go all in on a Dallas stack. So we want him to throw to Lamb. I want Dowdle in there as well. We got 3,400 the rest of the way. If we get Ferguson in there, and now we're at 1,500. At 1,500, we get Dalvin Cook, or we could get Zeke. So if we look at Dalvin Cook last week, game log-wise, 2 attempts, or no, he didn't play. He's on the practice squad. He last played in week 9. He's probably not elevated, so we'll look at that. But again, we could go Zeke. Zeke, maybe we get vintage Zeke against a bad team here. So we are at a 5-1 stack, looking at Dallas as the 5, Chase Brown as the captain, and good to go there. So let's move to FanDuel. Now, the pricing on FanDuel is different. You have $10,000 more, and you have 1 less spot when we look at this. So the pricing's a little bit softer, but you see, so let's go Joe Burrow. Everyone's going to be on Jamar Chase. Let's pivot and go to Higgins. Let's also put in Chase Brown, because I just don't see Chase Brown not having a great game. Now we're at 10,000 both of the ways. Could we go Cooper Rush at 11.5? And now we're at 8,500. Are we looking at a kicker? Are we looking at maybe Schoonmaker? Again, obviously everyone's going to be on Ferguson, but Cincy against the tight end, very bad. Maybe Schoonmaker comes in and is very underowned. We left 500 on the table. We left 1 lineup in there. I don't have any money on FanDuel, so I can't play. So that's 1. That's 1 lineup that we could build up there. Looking at one here where we've got Chase Brown as the MVP. A little bit cheaper. We get Joe Burrow in there. Obviously, Joe hopefully does well. We put Higgins in there. We put Cooper Rush in here. And now we're at 85 again. We go Brandon Aubrey or down. Let's go Brandon Aubrey because maybe somehow Cincy's defense slows them down a little bit, just enough to make them have to kick. So that is another lineup there. And then let's do one more lineup looking at an MVP such as one we really haven't touched on as an MVP. But let's look at what we could do if we put in Jamar Chase. So he's very expensive. I get that. Joe Burrow's got to throw to him. I think Chase Brown gets in there because of how bad Dallas' defense is. We're at 87.5 this way. So let's put our kicker in here. Brandon Aubrey at 85. Now we're at 9,000. Bengals defense, I don't trust them. Cade York you could look at. Mike Gesicki you could look at. Schoonmaker you could look at. So let's say, depending, we already have 3 Cincy, 1 Dallas. Let's go Schoonmaker and just think that maybe, again, they're going to be able to hold down Ferguson. So that is our third lineup there. So a little bit different. And then we get to Yahoo. Yahoo is different. Different ways to go about it. Again, they called it their superstar. Save a little bit of money. Go with Chase Brown. I want to get Joe Burrow in there. I want to get Cooper Rush in here. Again, I think we need both quarterbacks. Now we average $11 for 2 spots. If you bring that down, that's the defenses, which I don't trust. Come down a little bit further, maybe Khalil Herbert against a Dallas D. How has Herbert done? 1.4. He really hasn't done anything since coming over here. So that's kind of off of there. And then it just depends. You think it's Kevontae Turpin. So if you look at game logs for Turpin, 7.5, 7.3, 16.1. He's got rushes and he's got the targets for a wide receiver. I'm going to put him at 12. Now we were at 10. We really haven't talked about them, but Tanner Hudson, Drew Sample are the tight ends here. Receptions are there out of targets. So Tanner Hudson, not bad, hasn't done much. I'm going to put him in there as one of the lineups. So that's one. Another one we could look at, looking at some sort of superstar. Let's go a little bit different direction and go Cooper Rush as the superstar. Let's have him thrown it to probably Ferguson and CeeDee Lamb. And now for 2 spots, we're at $24 for both of those spots. I'm going to take Chase Brown at 31. That leaves 17, which we got Ferguson. We've already got him in there. We got Brandon Cooks we haven't talked about much. So you can look at Brandon Cooks. You do have 4 Dallas, 1 Cincy. If it follows the trend and Cincy's up and Dallas has to throw the ball, Dallas could throw it. You got Cooper Rush thrown to Ferguson, Lamb, and Cooks with Brown being in there as well. And there you have it. That's the lineup. We'll put that in there. We'll submit that one. I can only play one on Yahoo, whatever. But if you have not checked out FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, check us out. Usually when we have a normal NBA slate, we've got normal NBA content every day. So we've got NBA right now. We've got what you see there. NFL, we're adding the simulation tabs this week. Feel pretty comfortable with those. So those will be added and we'll have a ton of information for you there. PGA, I believe there's PGA this week. Let me see. Because I know sometimes, there should be PGA for a couple weeks until we get to, is there not? Is there really not PGA this week or they just don't have it up yet? Bear with me real quick. I'll look at the schedule. PGA Tour Q School. Oh, the Corn Ferry. So, no, there's not, is there? I highly doubt that is there. So, PGA back next week with Crypto.com Showdown? Maybe? Or are we done through the end of the year? We might be done. Let's see. Okay. We might be... PGA might be done for a little bit. We'll see. We'll definitely see what's going on for PGA. But MMA, we have MMA coming up. If we look at the MMA schedule here for Saturday, 6 p.m., 13 fights so far. We good to go there. So at least this week we know we have NFL, NBA come Wednesday, and MMA, and we'll see what DraftKings does for PGA. This one is the one where we'll kind of know with FanDuel whether or not yeah, might not have golf this week. So that is it. Any questions, comments, concerns, get those down below. Hopefully you can build your guys some great lineups. If you have some plays that we didn't talk about here and you want to talk about, let us know. Or in the description of this video is the Discord channel, completely free. Go check it out and get in on the conversation. Good luck this week. As always, let's have some bacon. Bye.